Hello everyone, today we'll be playing I Am. Let's get right into it.
Okay, we just need to talk to Aggie. She'll know what to do.
No, Sparky. I've been thinking about it. I think Samfire's right. I think it's maybe time to let the town go.
No, Morris. It's not.
No, it's all right, Sparky girl. It's over. This isn't my town anymore. The only ones around here who remember me are ghosts.
That's not true.
No, it is. But that's all right. Truly it is. Everything for a season and all that. And I miss the people I knew. The people who've moved on. I want to see them again. I think I will take Pete Nochop on his offer and head into the west with him. Chelmiston doesn't need Morris Lupton any longer.
Morris Lupton, you will not give up. You have been granted a precious responsibility and you will honor it.
Or what?
Sparky?
I'm sorry about that. Remember when I told you I was mostly Sparky? I am, but mostly.
Then what else are you?
I am the rock that you stand on. The wood you people built this town from.
Okay, well, it's
The
time for you to move
magma
on.
bubbling beneath your feet. I am Chelmiston.
Okay.
And right
Favorite.
now I want to erupt.
What?
I have also made connections to the things that live here. Connections I want to keep alive. I need you, Morris.
I know. You need to let it go, bro.
Right. Well,
And I'm still your Sparky. And I need you, Morris. We all do.
Do we?
oh, Sparky.
I know you feel forgotten. I know you want to move on. I do too, but I can't until I
Yes,
wrap
you
up this
can.
last bit of unfinished business. Will you try one last avenue with me? If we still can't find a solution, then I'll be done.
What unfinished
It'll all
business?
be done. And we can go into the West together.
Right. It's always gonna be something new, something
Please.
else, so you need to keep going for it. No. It's already been
All
done,
right,
so
Sparky. One last try.
Going to?
But who else is there to talk to?
Aggie.
Aggie? But where is she? Oh, she's everywhere, isn't she?
She is. But I can sniff her out. I just need some mementos.
Right.
But where would we find mementos from back then? Oh, of course.
Back to your museum, Morris.
Well, it sounds like it's more for selfish reasons that you want to keep this going, but okay.
Ah, well, it's reopened. Well, I suppose that's good. You need to keep up the footfall. Everything has to move on.
Well, yes, but, it is still your museum, Morris. It wouldn't be here without you.
Ah, it was never my museum, Sparky.
It's everyone's museum.
It was Chelmiston's. It's changing, but, I think it should. So, what happens now? How do we find 4,000-year-old memories?
Ah, come with me, Morris. There's one more thing I ought to show you.
Okay, Sparky. Well, don't suppose I'll have a look at Aggie's room the same way again, will I?
Morris, take a look at those skulls, please.
The skulls? But they have memories inside them? Oh, that's rather morbid, Sparky.
Not quite. Look, I didn't explain this before because I felt things were confusing enough, but that slicing is a bit more powerful than I've led you to believe.
Oh, well, what do you mean?
Well, we aren't limited to memories of people who are alive. People are bounded by time, but memories aren't. Check it out.
Oh, I didn't think dead stomachs could get queasy, but here we are. Where are we, Sparky?
When are we, Morris? This is Shelmerston in Aggie's time. You should be able to find some memories of her here.
You are some dog, Sparky.
Yeah.
It was the worst night in the world when Aggie was born. It began in the old village, the one swept away by the rivers of fire. The ground shook and the earth split open and spat sparks. The sun hid and the huts burst into flame as we fled. I thought we would all die. Everyone washed in the burning orange dirt. And Aggie's mother howling with the pain of the child coming. We made it as far as the cliff top by the sea. The mountain was still roaring and roaring. The rock ran in rivers toward the sea. The air smelled of death and blood. But Aggie was perfect. Small and angry, her tiny fists pummeling the air. I used my knife to cut the cord. We chose a spot for the new village, closer to the beach. The burning rivers cooled to pierce the black glass. I made sure everyone knew that a life that began in this way would be special. Not everyone believed me, but Aggie proved me right.
My goodness. Giving birth like that must have been awful. What a terrifying situation.
Yeah.
So, where do you think that knife is? Should we look around here, or...?
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen that knife before. Back at the museum, I reckon.
Okay, Morris, let's go.
Oh wait, there it is.
Beautiful. And to think that people had not long stopped using flint tools when this was made.
There is so much history in this knife.
Ooh.
I'd love to see what else it got up to.
The knife? This is the same place. And I have to stay here and find the things I need? Get over here.
Of course we watched her. We had heard of her birth and seen her on the shore. Her feet sometimes in the seawater, her body in the sun. We did not show ourselves at first. As a test, we left a mirror on the black shore, born of the volcano on the same day as her, and waited to see what would happen, to see if it called to her. She picked it up, turned it from side to side. She took it home. The next time I saw her, I introduced myself. We sang together, and I showed her how the mirror worked. How if you emptied your mind and thought of air and light and sea, you would see things in its surface. How things would unfurl in the future. Aggie was better at mirror gazing than any of us sea folk. She saw a girl, her own daughter not yet born, as leader of the dry folk. I told Aggie to keep on gazing into that mirror, that one day the island would need something more than a leader.
Oh, I had a box of rocks that looked like that mirror somewhere. Where did I put it?
Isn't that what she's looking for? It literally says obsidian mirror. Yeah, finally.
I was always fearless. My mother Aggie told me there was nothing I couldn't do. With Otsul and without, I hunted the deer in the woods and the hares on the mountain, all before I had taken my first lover. And younger still, one time Aggie had me knock her tooth out when she was in terrible pain. I didn't mind even when the poured out. It was easy for me.
Jeez. Crazy.
Spears and knives were my nature, and courage were my meat and drink. I knew about Aggie's mirror, of course, but did not believe all of it. When Aggie warned us the mauler was sick and there would be fewer calves for the following years, none of us listened. It was to be my first. I wanted their. It was my nature. We would not take less of the Morlow just because an old woman told us to. She came to the beach after the Morlow, her hair wild, eyes burning with fury, raged and shouted like a woman out of her mind. We had too many, she said. Then she left the village, told us she was done with all of us, forever. As Otziul marked me with oil and I did not mourn my mother leaving. I was young and foolish, and the sight of her ashamed me. But of course, I did not see what was to come.
Oh, now you regret things? It's a bit late for that, ain't it?
To think that they were still having the same arguments about the Morlow way back in the Bronze Age.
Aggie must have sensed the trouble ahead. Maybe she was trying to find a way to prevent it.
That's freaky. Oh, I see it.
What a beautiful object. Delighted to have it in our museum.
She was alone, and I would bring her food sometimes, sandfire and sea urchins. She would make dry food and we would eat it together. Textures unlike any we knew that broke apart in your hands and in your mouth. We would sing together, make tea together. We became her family. The dry folk left her alone. She had a companion for a few seasons, a hind who came down from the mountain and slept at her fire. And then, for a few more, a golden hair that ate from her hand. One night we all felt it. Those of us in the water and those above. The island waking, rumbling, alive again, more furious than before. We found Aggie awake, tending her fire, unsleeping, unresting, staring into her mirror. She told me she'd seen the island sinking into orange fire and boiling sea, lost forever above and below. The village and our town in the sea caves, all gone. Aggie went to the shore and blew the sinistral shell, calling our people up from the water. Aggie sang for them the oldest song, and we spoke for some time. That night, the sea and sky was all the same color, a deep grey blue like a mackerel's back without the glitter. As the dawn approached, Aggie left the beach to return to her people, to tell them what must be done.
I'm not sure I want to see what happens next.
We have to, Morris.
Such a small thing. But it changed the entire course of our island.
We heard the shell and knew Aggie had returned. Ibni was the leader then. It had taken many seasons, more than we would have liked, but there were finally enough Morlow again, and our village was growing. We were strong. Some of the younger ones didn't know Aggie and didn't want to hear her, called her a moonshot and crone, but Ibni looked in her mother's face and saw the truth of it. The end would come. The earth was growling again. There would be hot rivers of and clouds of. But Aggie brought us the answer. She would give herself to the island.
Sacrifice somebody.
Ibni's voice shook. Surely a deer or a goat would be enough. The year's finest, blackest calf. Aggie cast down her eyes and shook her head. We all knew. I offered my blade, but Aggie turned me away. She took her knife that had cut her own cord the night the volcano last erupted and wrapped Ibni's fingers tight around the bone hilt. It must be you, Ibni, she said, and it must be now before the sun comes up.
Insane.
This day, Aggie embraced her daughter. Ibni whispered something, but I could not catch the words. Both women's faces shone with tears. Aggie sat on the ceremonial stone, the tears streaming now from all of us. Aggie delivered her final message. She told us her body must not be burned or given to the sea, but lain in the earth of the island beneath the mountain. Ibni was shaking, and then I realized it was not just Ibni. The whole island was trembling under our feet, waking up. Aggie told Ibni to be quick, the end was coming. As Aggie took Ibni's hand and guided the knife to her side, we saw the fish folk rising from the sea, hundreds of them, so many. I had no idea there were so many. Aggie was quiet the whole time, but Ibni cried out, a sound of longing and hurting from her heart like I had never heard. Then she fell silent, and as Aggie's life poured from her body, the island and everything on it fell suddenly still, utterly still. We wept then, in sorrow and relief. Then the fish folk were among us, countless, numberless. One embraced Ibni, holding her up as it seemed her own legs might give way. When the sun came up that day, land and sea folk stood together for the first time, talking and singing the old songs, Aggie's songs, together.
So messed up.
Ibni and the fish folk took Aggie up onto the mountain. They laid her in the peat alongside the knife and all the things she would need on her journey. Ibni watched over Aggie for days afterwards. Before she was covered, she placed a sacred carved stone, Aggie's beloved hair, inside her mother's mouth, to guide her and help her keep the mountain still forever. And so it was.
Until now.
Oh, Aggie. Now that's bravery.
That's insanity. Did you not listen to the same thing we did? There it is. Oh my god.
Hey, Sparky, it feels a bit, disrespectful looking inside Aggie's body like that.
You were the one who dug her up and put her on a plinth, Morris. Relax, Morris. This body isn't Aggie anymore. She's long past needing this old thing.
Well, all right then.
My dog has a point.
Okay, Morris. I'll level with you. We absolutely didn't need to find Aggie's mementos in order for me to sniff her out. She's here, waiting for you. She has been this whole time.
But then, why did we need to visit the Bronze Age?
Aggie thought it was important for you to see those memories, so you would understand her path before you met her. But also, wasn't it cool?
That it was. The things I've seen now. Oh, Sparky, thank you so much. To think, for a while there, I was worried that being was gonna be boring.
You are very welcome, Morris. Okay, so, shall we go say hello to Aggie?
Yes.
Morris, Sparky, it's so good to see you both.
Hey, Aggie.
You know me?
Of course I do. Morris Lupton, one of the best loved men in the history of Shelmerston, with the very finest dog.
Me? Oh, I don't know.
Come now, let's go out of this place, into the air.
Is everyone just kind of okay? That's all, folks.